Wild card weekends like Groundhog's Day. It just never ends. It keeps going over and over again. Today we got Vikings-Rams today. One more Monday Night Football treat to close out wild card weekend. Why is it not super wild card weekend anymore? What happened to that shitty marketing? Either way, we got to talk about it here. We're going to do what we always do. We're going to compare some projections and ownership from Stochastic. Going to hop to the world of Solver, see what the ETR gang thinks. They're like the Jets and the Sharks. They're rivals fighting in the streets, and I bring them together in the name of looking at good projection data. We're also going to sim some lineups on the Stochastic as well. And we'll see by the end of this video who are the must plays for the slate. Let's get into it. Very fun weekend of games. I feel like obviously yesterday's slate was also good. This weekend was really profitable for me. So I'm feeling very good about things. Nice morning. Vibes are high right now. And I see our guy Adam in here just typing eliminated now. Thank God I don't have to deal with him. And ruining playoff best ball, Lad McConkey. I will say though, for myself, look at the happy couple. I don't think we look like a couple in the thumbnail. It's actually a fun fact though. There's one of my favorite photos that I've used throughout best ball season / the year. This photo of Justin Jefferson. I feel like he looks very exuberant. The one issue is like he does like a weird like hand gesture in it. I don't know. It's like kind of like he's got like I don't know arthritic hand kind of gang gesture he's got going. And I have to like crop it out because it's like that it goes over my face. So yeah, it's one of those things. You know, even if we were a couple, we'd be fighting right now. But honestly, fun weekend of games. Hope you guys had good results. And one of our guys, Paul, DM me right before the show on Discord saying he finished top 10 in a tournament for the second straight week since becoming a member here. So that's pretty cool to see. A little bit of a connection there for him. Besides that, though, obviously, Jaden Daniels is a big one. I do want to talk about it briefly before we hop into the projections. And, of course, timestamps will be down below if you're watching this one after the fact. I feel like for me this weekend, and I was talking to Alex about it, my wife, before the show, just like how excited I have been for Jaden Daniels. And you guys know it on stream too. Like it was really fun this year. Obviously some ups and downs, you know, the Cliff Kingsbury play calling of it all, being a bit of a disappointment. But I will say this year for me, and I think in particular, the Jaden part of it has been one of the more fun gambling rooting experiences I've had in my life. And probably one of the more fun sports experiences I've had in terms of just like seeing, you know, greatness before my eyes. When I was at USC, I saw a really great, you know, Leinart, Reggie Bush teams, even the Carson Palmer team my freshman year where they went to the first bowl game they'd gone to in a while under Pete Carroll. Like that was a lot of fun too. But I didn't really know what I was seeing at that point in time. I didn't know I was like witnessing this moment in time I wish I could relive now. Like, I wish I could be back, you know, watching that team be so fun and exciting. For Jaden Daniels, this has been it for me. Like every game he comes through, he's out there. He has like a lot of fun when he's playing. He's always smiling with dudes. And I've watched a lot of Commanders. You guys probably could tell from watching these videos. I watch a lot of the games, but I really watch a lot of the games that I have money rooting interest in for whatever reason. And I really feel like I've attached to this Commanders team in a way where even the fan base, like they're still like shell shocked about RG3 and they're worried about, and they're like, even their like optimism for the team is like dampened a little bit through that prism. For me, it's been one of the most pure sporting experiences I've had where I was like really excited for him to win yesterday. We're excited to see him do well. We're excited to see him make some big plays. And now he goes into Detroit and the lines moved. It was open to 10.5 in some books. I pegged it at 8.5. It's now down to 8. So definitely big underdogs here, but I am rooting for Jaden to pull off the upset and give me full sports movie vibes because it has really been one of the more enjoyable rooting experiences I've had. Just being on a guy from January, and then being with him, holding hands like a true couple throughout the year, and then you see him start to do well and do well so early in his career. Very proud of Jaden. This is what fatherhood feels like, I suppose. Anyway, onto the slate, though. That's just me rambling a little bit because it has been top of mind. And I think, too, when you find those moments of joy, like a lot of the stuff doing this every day, I have fun doing this. Hopefully that shines through as well. But it is still work. It's still clocking in, doing a thing every day, having to kind of perform, do some work, do some mental gymnastics. But like it is really to find the joy and stuff a little bit more. Obviously, you always find joy in wins, but then the next day you're chasing that again. You're gambling some more. You're doing whatever. Doing another DFS slate. Doing another prop bet. I think just being able to kind of reflect on something and go like, you know what, this has been a lot of fun. Like, this has been one of the more enjoyable parts of things. I think is nice. So I would just say that maybe there's some parallel for you guys out there, but just try to enjoy it. That's what I would say. Really fun when you can just enjoy sports. Got to love those moments when you get them. Yeah. And, I'm sure same for Steven here with Mike Vrabel being hired as his head coach. New England Patriots. You're looking forward to a really exciting 9-8 team that's going to get shredded by deep balls, but defend the shit out of the run. Probably play some good red zone defense. And offensively, going to be a slog. That's the fun of sports. Your top projected players, though, Monday Night Football. We're on track now. Going to be a long thumbnail. Remember this mentally. Starts at 4:30. They'll save you from having to do too much work skimming to make the thumbnails, the timestamps after the video. Puka Nacua, your top projected guy in the slate, 23.6 fantasy points. Overall, obviously, good spot for Puka Nacua. A situation here, they're going to probably be in a game script you'd expect. The Vikings offense should get some success. Rams, certainly. And I think we have to talk about it, too. The Rams, the wildfire stuff, I do, displacing this game, moving into Arizona. They were already an underdog at home anyway, going against Minnesota, a team that was better throughout the year. Obviously fell apart in week 18 there in the brightest national lights. I would say, though, people are going to play this one, I think, more. Like, the Rams are not going to come ready to play. The Rams are so distracted. Some of their homes have been on fire. Their friends, their families are affected. They're being moved around, whatever the case may be. I think you could also play it the other way, too, a little bit in terms of the narrative. Is just you could play like, hey, the Rams bind together, have an upset win here. And then, because they're playing for this part of the area, this part of the country that's been really afflicted, really, I think that's something that could be there. So I would say for Puka Nacua, for the Rams overall, which comes to mind because we talk about Puka Nacua up top, I think there's a spot here where you could play a little more into the idea that the Rams play extra hard because they're playing for, part of the region, which this happened before, like 9/11 Yankees. I was there in New York when that was my senior year of high school. Remember that very vividly. Sometimes teams just, that gives them a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, and being a dog here, having to move to Arizona for the game, going to be more of a Minnesota lean as well, because there's a lot of snowbirds apparently from Minnesota that live down in Arizona. Maybe there's a little bit of a bonding thing, a Bill Simmons kind of narrative thing that would come together for the Rams here. But really, it's more, I think, expect people aren't going to play the Rams quite as much, would be really my main guess. Let's see. We got Justin Jefferson, number 2 projected guy, 21.95, so basically 22 fantasy points. So a little bit behind Puka Nacua, a little bit more expensive as well. I guess naturally you should get more Puka Nacua in lineups with him being cheaper and higher projected by about 1.5 points. So for Jefferson here, 11K salary, I think it's a strong spot for him. I do think, though, it's more of a Jordan Addison situation, not because Jefferson's going to be bad, but the fact that the Rams play so much zone defense. Addison can't get open versus man, like at all. Hockenson gets open versus man. Jefferson gets open versus man. Jefferson about a 27% target route run rate versus man defense. Hockenson 29%. Addison just 17% in a negative 0.2 EPA. Meanwhile, versus zone, he's averaging about 2.4 yards per out run, 22% target route run, and a 0.55 EPA. He'll catch touchdowns versus man and zones. So like Addison can still find a way to get there. But I think for Addison, he should perform better overall versus Rams defense. And also 0.07 EPA per dropback allowed, 0.08 EPA per pass, 0.01 EPA per rush. They're probably the worst defense. And that honestly includes, I think, the Commanders and Bucks. They're probably the worst defense this entire wild card weekend. So Rams defense here to Jefferson, big upside, but obviously Addison there I think looks pretty good. Weird they didn't move the game to Vegas, which is closer and easier to get to. Probably arena booking or, stadium booking, my guess. How so much Addison in playoff best ball? Yeah, I mean, look, playoff best ball is a weird beast because you are going to have a lot of teams advancing this week that are just going to be dead functionally. Charger stacks in particular, one of them that might move on. But we'll see. It's funny. There's actually one little anecdote which I was going to save later what I just had to talk about. So remember the guy who came in like all 6 of the playoff best ball drafts I had last week or 2 weeks ago when I did my first run of them, and I'm like, we don't need to be in every fucking draft. I think that guy got blanked, and I advanced in every one of those bids so far. Obviously, something weird could happen with Monday Night Football, but I was kind of looking at the teams. I think I'm locked into the top 2 spots on all of them. But that would be the case I would make for the record if that does hold up, and even if it doesn't, you're just taking each other's EV if you draft together on streams. So just be mindful of that if you are one of those people, whether it be with me or elsewhere, but especially, people who are competent streamers. It's hilarious to me if he doesn't advance a single one after really trying to chase being on stream here. Anyway, back to the projection. Sam Darnold at number 3, 20.9 fantasy points. Jefferson and Darnold will be a common pairing, I'm sure. Darnold going to probably be in play captain a little bit as well, that $9,600 salary and a projection that's not too far behind Jefferson and Nacua. I would guess in the kind of cash game lineups, you're going to get more of a lean for the Vikings pass game, which is fine, but does add a little bit more value to Aaron Jones, perhaps. Also, you do have an ill Cam Akers in this game as well. He's supposed to be playing, but Cam Akers being sick, maybe it gives you a little more a shot of Aaron Jones consolidating the workload that has admittedly escaped him in about the last month or so with Cam Akers. Cam Akers is now up to 1.1 red zone attempted touches a game. Aaron Jones still a good 3.6, which would be one of the higher marks in the league. But you're still talking about like Akers chipping away a meaningful amount. So if he's ill, if he's been missing practice a little bit, that helps Aaron Jones out a little bit more. It's kind of a leverage play. Kyron Williams, 17.9 fantasy points, 10-4 salary for him. Definitely going to be less played by Puka than Puka Nacua. Probably less played than Sam Darnold as well, but still a strong play here. I think in terms of the upside, in terms of the game script, if you do get the Rams, again, coming through with some extra motivation, just winning the game outright, they're also just 3-point dogs. So as we saw yesterday for the Commanders in Tampa Bay, 3-point dog, you could win that spot pretty easily. So I would say for Kyron Williams, another logical play to go to here, and certainly in play at captain as well, 10-4. Matthew Stafford, a little bit harder to play him in captain, but I'm sure he'll be less owned for it, though. 17-1 is the projection for him. Wow, look at the gap in projection between Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. That is huge. 23.6 fantasy points for Puka. 12.6 for Cooper Kupp. So that's wow. That's a crazy discrepancy here. Cooper Kupp's been awful down the stretch. The year-long rates aren't that bad. I mean, Puka Nacua, 39% target route run, which is crazy. It's the most out of any like legit receiver in the league. Still 30% target route run for Cooper Kupp. 8.3 targets a game for Kupp, 9.6 for Puka. EPA-wise, Puka's Dustin Kupp, 0.43 compared to 0.07. But Kupp was never that efficient even when he was setting like fantasy records and all that with the PPR scam he had going. I don't think it should be this big of a gap between the two, but you have to highlight it here because that's an enormous discrepancy in price tag as well. Like Cooper Kupp, 9,400, being priced fairly, I think. The projection, though, is dog shit. Have to take a victory lap on Dyami Brown from last night. Won me 20K. I'm glad he won you 20K. I don't know what you're victory lapping. I don't. Were you here touting Dyami Brown? I played Dyami Brown because ETR's projections. And actually, so one thing I tried to get too cute with for the showdown in particular, but also for the main slate, I had one lineup that would have been really good if I gotten it right. I was like, I thought people play Zacchaeus more than they probably should. So that was like, all right, but Dyami Brown projected too well with ETR data that I then tried to galaxy brain. It was like, all right, so what if people are pivoting off of Zacchaeus because he fails and they go to Dyami Brown because ETR data and then he fails? And then what if you play, and I played some Jamison Crowder and Luke McCaffrey instead of just leading on Dyami Brown. But Dyami Brown is a big part of why I had a good weekend too. So I didn't win 20K. So shout out to you for that. But yeah, I had a good weekend and Dyami Brown is certainly a part of it. Again, just Commanders, they're going to ping pong some games around where you're not Terry McLaurin. And Terry McLaurin, also key part of what they did, obviously. Jordan Addison, 7K salary, 14.7 projection. He's probably going to come up a lot. That's a low salary for Jordan Addison. Oh boy. Okay, you weren't touting him. I didn't think you were being disrespectful. I thought you were just like maybe mentioned it in chat and I missed it. I was I was on Brown also, but definitely did not expect that game. No, that was crazy. That was a great game for him. I mean, the snaps were there. The workload's been there for him lately. But you know, like I could talk Commanders all day. Legitimately, like I feel like I could be a Commanders podcaster at this point. I am deeply in the team bag for them until Jane Daniels goes in the second round next year, and I'm like, oh, like not going to draft this motherfucker now. Too expensive. I'll team Cam Ward, team Jackson Dart. All right, lower guys here. Let's start by value. Let's get that real fast. All right, Davis Allen, your top value right now. We had to see with the Chargers until they get. I mean, they have to bring in somebody better than Quentin Johnson next year. This receiver class, I'm not wowed by, so we'll see. But I think they upgrade the Quentin Johnson part. Look, Ladd's great. I have to give him credit. Like Ladd really down the home stretch played really well, so have to give him that. But you know, it's tough because like wide receiver, you're a little more subject to what goes around you. And if that team does want to run more, which they should, I think that hurts Ladd. If they bring in somebody else as the top target, it hurts Ladd. But like for rookie year, I mean, this is certainly one of the best wide receiver rookie years we've had in a while. Definitely more in line with the Puka Nacua, you know. So I look, Adam was on it. I have to give Adam credit for it. He's annoying about it, but he was on it. And yes, Jaden is definitely him, Spags all over that. I am. I love my boy Jaden. Again, having him and Luca in my life, it really does feel like having two sons, one of which going to make a lot more money, I think, based on early projections. Davis Allen, your top value, $200 salary, 0.5 fantasy points. Last week was not a do or die game for the Rams, so hard to look at the snap count and get a read on it. Davis Allen last week played 20 snaps, a week before 10. Higbee, 27 snaps last week, 17 the week before that. Yeah, I don't know that I would trust Davis Allen very much. Does feel like Higbee's reclaimed the role. Higbee also, when he's been out there, getting targeted a shitload. Higbee's getting targeted 33% of the time versus man defense that he's out there, 31% versus zone, 38% overall when running a route. So Higbee being out there is kind of hurting Davis Allen's opportunity overall. I would take Higbee at 3K a lot today, a 6.8 projection for him. I would take that over Davis Allen at 200. I think Davis Allen at 200 is just a trap. He's not going to come up a lot with the 0.5 projection, but just I would talk yourself more into Higbee and less than Davis Allen, I believe. Puka Nacua, despite being a 10-6 salary, one of your top values in the slate based on stochastic data. Brandon Powell, $200 here, 0.44 fantasy points for him, so not a high projection. Powell, what did he play in a do or die spot versus the Lions last week? Powell played 6 snaps. If he played 6 snaps in a do or die game, I would have a hard time going there. You could certainly luck box a touchdown, but even that's not guaranteed to make a winning lineup for you if the game does score some points. So Powell's here. Powell and Davis Allen, though, not really legit plays to me. And last but not least, TJ Hawkinson, 12.4 projection for him at the $5,600 salary. It's about a 2.2x value. So technically a top value here. I think Hawkinson and Higbee lineups don't feel too bad. Pretty sure McVay's quote was Higbee unlocks things the other tight ends don't. Seems like he's going to be taking over the main tight end role. I mean, that target share, I saw it before earlier in the week when I was pulling numbers, like, that's crazy high. Getting targeted well. The issue is maybe versus a blitz-heavy Minnesota team, you keep them in the block a little bit more. But obviously, if you're expecting the Vikings to be ahead, which I think you should, Higbee being out there, having to be out there for pass routes probably makes sense. All right, let's look at the ownership data next. Let's see what we got here. Top owned player, Puka Nacua, projected by that right now. Parkinson's still getting half the snaps. Let's see. Parkinson played 23 and 26 the last few weeks. So, yeah, he would technically be your leverage. His numbers look nothing like Higbee's do so far. So that's your trade-off. One guy's actually getting targeted and seemingly a part of the offense. The other guy certainly was earlier in the year. Now, I mean, he really hasn't nattered in a while, but for a showdown, sure, if you want to try to get leverage there or play Parkinson with Higbee, you could. Puka Nacua, 64% ownership, 25% in captain. So whatever anti-Rams narrative based on the spread is not going to be in play based on this ownership. I find it hard to believe Puka's going to be that highly owned, to be honest. I think Stochastic has him a little bit over-projected. One shocking this number came down a little bit. I also really don't buy that there's going to be this big of a chasm between Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. A Monday Night Football, historically more of a casual slate. And for, again, as bad as Cooper Kupp has been throughout the year and towards the back half of the year especially, I just don't think there's analytically that big of a gap between them. Performance-wise, for sure. I just don't think Kupp ends up almost a third is owned and barely owned a captain, and Puka Nacua is like the runaway captain ownership play. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. Sam Darnold, 64% ownership, only 9% in captain. Getting a good price tag, good projection on him, top 3 projection based on Stochastic data. So no issue with Sam Darnold. Certainly, I think there's going to be some amount of people that fade him based upon him falling apart in Sunday Night Football. You could certainly spin the narrative that Minnesota doesn't show up today because that game was really them finding the floor a little bit and certainly gave the Rams some tape, things to try to do for themselves. But the Rams defense is so bad. I find it hard to fade Sam Darnold here. Though I do find myself naturally fading QB more in lineups. At least one QB in lineups, a lot in showdowns lately, because you get the pass catchers to these guys, and if the guy doesn't hit really at QB, you're probably creating enough PPR points for a receiver to get there, an RB to get there through running touchdowns. So certainly you can fade Darnold, but the projection looks good. The price tag looks pretty good. So being with the field on him feels about right at both captain and 64% overall, 9% in captain. Justin Jefferson, 54% overall ownership, 17% in captain. I like him a lot in the spot. I do think Addison's going to be a credible play as well. Captain, $7K salary, 10% captain ownership, 43% overall. I think Jefferson's a good play in any spot. Playoff situation, expect him to get fed the ball a bit more. Same principles like in basketball, where guys get more minutes, guys get more consolidated production. In the playoffs, you're trying to find your top targets more. You just run the risk of going into a good defense, and then the team knows how to shut that guy down better. Rams should not know how to shut down Jefferson, really. I think what's more likely, though, is Addison hits with them. Maybe hits enough at captain that he knocks Jefferson down in the flex or out of a winning lineup. So that would be my trade-off for Jefferson. It's a lot of ownership for Puka and Jefferson, but obviously they're your top 2 players in a do-or-die game. You expect them to get targeted a lot and probably PPR scam their way pretty well, no matter what the case is going to be for their touchdown results. Aaron Jones, 45% ownership, 8% in captain. Do you think if you're playing the total here and, again, Addison, I think is too cheap. Jefferson, I think, is going to get owned based off the brand name and the upside and all of that. Aaron Jones is probably your biggest leverage here, especially with Cam Akers being sick. You do have Aaron Jones here under 8% at captain ownership projected, 45% overall, reasonable AK salary. You get Addison in with that. You get Jefferson in with that. You get one of Puka. I mean, certainly can get Kupp. You can build a really evenly balanced team with Aaron Jones at captain, I think, with Addison, Kupp, the tight ends. Man, the build should be kind of soft today, I think, with some of the pricing here. But I like Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is a credible play. Flex or captain. Captain gets you more leverage on your other Vikings players. They'll be decently owned. And the flex, probably a good shot of earning it here. Again, Akers being sick matters a little bit. Akers has been taking too many snaps away from Jones. And Jones, too, like whatever health concerns they have, they're not resting him at this point because they're honestly, they're unlikely to make it to the next round. So they're going to throw Aaron Jones out there, probably give as much work as he can get. Addison, Aaron, no man's land for pricing. They probably get squeezed. I don't think so. I think they're just too cheap. I I think this ownership's a little bit light for both, to be honest, but I think they're two of the best plays, like 8K, 7K, Higbee at 3K, Hawks at 5,600. I think these guys are all a little bit too cheap, and they get you direct leverage, like, for their own parts of it, especially the Vikings parts. You get direct leverage on Jefferson. You got with Higbee kind of direct leverage on Puka Nacua. That's all that. Can't see anyone under Higbee, playing anyone under Higbee, making Jefferson captain stuff. You're going to need to give up a lot for it. I mean, I think it's more if you just balance it out better. If you're not taking Puka, it'll make it easier with Jefferson. But yeah, like you have enough guys here under 9K. Again, you have Higbee at 3K, who I wouldn't say is like a lock button value, but that target rate for him is really a willful desire to get in the ball. I think Higbee probably unlocks a lot. I think Hockenson to a certain extent would unlock a lot as well. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. Addison, 43% overall ownership, 10% in captain. Think he's a good play for both. Stafford, 42.5% ownership, 3% in captain. Probably a little bit under-owned at captain if there were a game script where Puka Nacua and Kupp just go nuts. Both guys getting there would mean Stafford has a higher shot of getting there as a captain. Higbee getting there as well with one of those guys. Maybe both those guys could happen too. You got to see chop production for the receiving core, basically, for Stafford to hit a captain. But I think he's worth 3% ownership for sure. He did play really well against the Vikings last time out. Though obviously, you play that well against the Vikings. You put that tape out there, and now you're going in for round 2. A little bit tougher to expect the same results again, especially with the team total being as low as it is for the Rams. But I think Stafford a viable play at that ownership. Hockenson, you got a 41-7 in captain. Kyren Williams, another leverage play, 8% in captain, 40% overall. Honestly, pretty decent ownership for Kyren. Cardi, the kicker, 1% captain, 24% overall. Reichard for the Vikings, 1% in captain, 23% overall. Certainly some world where they stall out. Reichard to get you a lot of leverage here at a 5K salary. We'll see how much the Sims like him, if they like him too much. But I think Reichard would be another play here that would work pretty well for some theoretical leverage on a high-scoring offense here. Cam Akers, sick but playing, 12% ownership, can definitely steal a touchdown. 1% of captain I probably wouldn't go for. And that's that. And Higbee, 25%, 1% of captain. So that's how that looks. Let's go to the solver next. Let me log in this tab here. Switch this over. Make sure to check out Stochastic, guys. Right now, we're trending towards being the best month of affiliate stuff, which is pretty sick. So please check it out. Stochastic down below, 15% off. Promo code SPLASH for you. NFL data, NBA data, all the tools I use on stream. Not the solver, but in general, all the Stochastic tools. They're all there for you at 15% off. That's the best deal they have. That goes in perpetuity. You get 15% off every month. So check it out. And it's a better deal than they actually give on their regular one. So it's an affiliate. Helps me out here. I get half the money you give to Stochastic, and then they get half, and you get a tool. You get a sweet, sweet tool right in your face. Let's go to Showdown here. Let's build 25 lineups, see what the cash game would have us at with ETR's data. And real fast, ETR's projections. Their top projected guy would be Puka Nacua as well. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold, number 3. Same order, basically same projections as Stochastic. Kyren Williams at number 4. Bit of a gap between Darnold, Jefferson, Nacua, and Kyren. Stafford under 17. Aaron Jones under 17. Addison under 15. Kupp under 13. So same thing here. The ETR and Stochastic both have about a 10-point that is crazy. About a 10-point discrepancy between Kupp and Nacua. Again, I get Kupp has been outperformed. Absolutely get that. Agree with that. Don't think in a one-game sample you want to go this nuts on Nacua over Kupp. They're going to get a lot of Naylor and Atwell on the slate or on the Sims. We'll see. We'll see. Your cash game lineup right now, if you're going to play a cash game here at almost 11:25 a.m. on the East Coast, this one right here: Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Aaron Jones, TJ Hockenson, and CJ Ham squeezing in here with the ETR data. So basically the cash game narrative, pushing Darnold the captain, a little more of a obviously pass dominant build for the Vikings. Still getting some rushing touchdowns for Aaron Jones and onslaughting the Vikings. It's interesting to see here. Nobody believes in us narrative for the Rams, certainly in play. Sam Darnold coming up 100% of lineups, Puka Nacua 100% as well. So showdown rules, guys. What do we know from watching these videos all year? Sam Darnold, you see him in every lineup. Puka Nacua, you see him in every lineup here with no variance put on top. Just run as they are. Those guys be the ones you take them out of your lineup, you fade them, you're going to get unique. So what if you play Cooper Kupp? What if you play Aaron Jones at captain and then pass catchers from the Vikings and the flex who then are all beating out Sam Darnold? That's how you do it today. So certainly Sam Darnold, because he's in every top 25 lineup here naturally just based off the projections. He's one of the best players on the slate. Same thing for Puka Nacua. We know that based off the projections and the price tag we saw earlier. That said here, when they get in everywhere, they're going to land in people's lineups a little bit too easy, and certainly there are ways you can pivot around them and try to get unique. So Darnold and Puka Nacua, you want your 3 ways to get unique coming up at the end of the video. It's going to be one of them. Besides that, you're getting a 4-man Vikings here with Hockenson, Jefferson, Darnold, and Addison in 20% of lineups. Another one with Darnold, Jefferson, Jones, and Hockenson in another 16%. Getting more Hunter Long and Davis Allen than I would have thought as well, but nothing too crazy here. Stack constructions, you're getting 4-2 Vikings and 52% of the top 25 lineups. 5-1 Vikings, another 40%. So 90%, more than 90% of the top 25 lineups have at least 4 Vikings. So you build more evenly balanced. You certainly, if you build Rams skewing ones with 4 Rams players, 5 Rams players, you're going to be getting away from the field because they're going to be inevitably force some more Vikings based on the projections and the salaries that are going on right now relative to that team total. And 3-3 builds, only 8% of teams. People still naturally build 3-3s a little bit more. But you're going to get a lot of Vikings dominant stuff. So if the Rams pull an upset here, that's one way to do it. We do not have Sims on ETR, so we'll spare that part of it. Let's head to Stochastic next. Quick run through the solver here, but some helpful lessons for sure, I would say. The sim process, important, but the optimizer process still remains one that I still always take a look at for every NFL slate and every NBA slate. Like optimizers, look, I know for you guys out there, I get the stuff for free because I'm doing it on stream and I know the companies. But for you guys out there, like I get not wanting to pay for everything. If you have the means and you're really trying to take DFS seriously, though, having a Sims tool, having an optimizer tool, and having them both, comparing them sometimes for different slates, doing different things when you're not getting things you like in the sim, that'd be really my recommendation. But obviously, I get the cost that goes into both. So follow your hearts. But, you know, have to talk about things about how I use stuff, and I do use both for my processes for NFL and NBA. NBA, honestly, I use more optimizer than sim because my projections are unique enough that I kind of allow that to rock for itself. For NFL, though, I'll run both sims, compare them both, see if I can find overlap in lineups and stuff. But that's it's also me selfishly hoping you'll pay for both. through Stochastic and the solver. They're pretty sick if you did. Guys, if you get value of this content, though, we've been hitting a lot of viewership highs. I feel like the Monday Night Football maybe going to do less well during this time of year, but please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. On that march to 5K subs, we're going to go about it at my pace, though, because I'm going to make the content that I want to do that makes me happy. That's also aligned with what I'm gambling on a given slate, and that is your showdowns. That is your DFS main slates for NFL. There's also, of course, best ball coming up here. And on Wednesday, I'll be back with my second rookie preview. I think going to do RBs on Wednesday, so that's coming up this week as well. But lots going on in Splash Play. The NFL content marches on the entire year. That is my commitment here. It's always been the premise I believe in for football. So that continues on. But please subscribe. Check out the sponsors too. Underdog, $1,000 in bonus cash. Stochastic, 15% off. Promo code SPLASH. Unabated, $30 off. Promo code SPLASH. Some of you guys signing up on there more, but keep doing it. Get better betting data. Check it out. All right. Let's zoom in here for you guys so you can see this better. Top ROI lineups right now. We'll also favorite our top 150. So get those findings in a moment. Number one ROI here by a pretty good margin. 413% ROI on this compared to 262 for the next one. Aaron Jones at captain, so getting leverage on your Minnesota passing game. Kyren Williams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, Will Reichard. So you're getting all of the Rams stuff here. Running game, Stafford, Puka, Higbee, who we like. Reichard as well, kicking some field goals. Hard to have no Minnesota pass catchers here against a really soft Rams team. But, you know, that's your way to get unique. So that's your top ROI lineup right now. Puka Nacua at number 2 at captain. Jalen Naylor, Jordan Addison, Josh Carty, Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold. So your one pay down option, a Naylor. The Naylor, I don't think is like crazy cheap on the slate. Naylor's still 3,600. I'd rather have Higbee personally at that price range, but soft matchup for Naylor. You know, you got to take your shots. But yeah, Naylor, Addison, Carty, Stafford, Darnold with Puka Nacua at captain. Number 2 ROI lineup. Number 3, TJ Hockenson, Aaron Jones, senior. No, don't confuse him with the son. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Rams D, Sam Darnold. So a little bit more of a Rams dominant build. Rams defense getting a takeaway from Darnold, which could certainly happen. You're still playing Darnold with it, which will also make you more unique. People not likely to play the opposing defense with a QB in a showdown. But certainly you can score enough. A little bit tough with Hockenson and captain, but you are then fading Jefferson and Addison. So yeah, I don't know that Hockenson has captain ceiling, but I would take some shots on the lineups I put in tonight. So I certainly can't advocate against it. And number 4, Naylor at captain. That feels flimsy. Jefferson and Addison, generally my rule of thumb with teams, with good players going against high efficiency allowed defense like the Rams are and giving up a pretty high EPA per drop back, EPA per pass. My general rule of thumb is that what that makes is like the players who are good just have more efficient games, and the players who aren't good have a shot at getting there in one play, two plays, having like a big play that works out. For Naylor, I still don't think you get enough for him to win at captain. Obviously he could, but like they're not going to cover Jefferson and Addison well enough. So like I don't think that works. But Naylor, Aaron Jones, Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Sam Darnold, Will Reichard. You're cramming in the studs a little bit here with Jefferson, Puka, Darnold, and Aaron Jones, getting a kicker in as well. So I get why Naylor works. I just don't think he's really got captain upside here. I think you're probably going to have a nice enough score out there to do that. Reichard, I'm going to say Reichard. But Reichard sounds right, though, but suck my dick also. Tyler Higbee at number 5, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford. Nobody, you know what? That's unfair. I still stand for Adam. Yes, suck my dick. But also, I shouldn't approach things that way. If you're right about the name, I should take that and educate myself better and be better at saying the name. That said, I just don't trust Adam at knowing the name correctly. So that's the trade-off. But Reichard, go with that. Your kids are watching. Oh, you're going to be swallowed, my kids, after all that dick sucking. Tyler, Adam can take this. I wouldn't say that's all you guys in chat, only Adam. Tyler Higbee, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, TJ Hawkinson. So Higbee at captain. Look, I could take a shot there. I think it's insane how much they're targeting him. To see him with over 33% rates versus man and zone splits. I don't know, man. I think it's been crazy the workload they've given him. He's really cheap at 3K. You could cram in whoever you want here. Still even 500 on the table. It's a nice lineup. Shouldn't be all your lineups with Higbee at captain, but you got a few in there. That's that. New Year's resolution they broke. I don't have any resolutions about getting my dick sucked. I don't know what specifically. Top ROI plays right now. Tyler Higbee, your highest ROI guy, but they're all negative. Higbee, negative 2% ROI at the 3K salary, but still technically your top ROI player in the slate. Davis Allen, negative 4.4%. Tyler Higbee at captain, negative 6%. So Higbee in the flex and captain. One of your best expected returns on this slate for stochastic. Jordan Addison, negative 7% at captain. Hawkinson, negative 7% at captain. Addison, negative 7.4% in the flex. So just based off the ROIs, Higbee and Addison should be two of your core plays today, whether it be at the flex or at captain. Top exposed players. You got Matthew Stafford. I think we're going to do a hand build today. Why not? Got time. Matthew Stafford, 15% positive leverage right now, 55% exposure. Let's just look at flex first. 55% exposure in the flex, 39% overall. So Stafford making it in the flex a little bit more than I would have thought. Darnold in the flex, dead even with the field. No lean there, really, but 53%. In the top 150 lineups, 53% for the field. Aaron Jones, 47% in the flex compared to 35% for the field. Puka Nacua, 43% in the flex compared to 40% for the field. Tyler Higbee, 35% in the flex compared to 23% in the field. And Jefferson a little bit lower, 35% compared to 38%. But no real big stands there. Besides more Higbee, besides more Aaron Jones, that's that. Everybody else are kind of holding hands. Besides Stafford as well. Stafford's a pretty big stand. At captain, you are dead even with the field on Puka Nacua, 25% for the field, 25% for you. Justin Jefferson, 16% exposure, and stochastic's top 150 lines compared to 18% for the field. So I'd say that's pretty much even. Aaron Jones, a little bit more, 11% compared to 8%, but not a big stand there. Jordan Addison, 9% in the top 150 compared to 9%, a little bit higher version of it for the field. So dead even there. Kyron, flat with the field. Hawkinson, really no big sim stands here, I feel like. Like this is really a light stand for Aaron Jones. Pro Aaron Jones, but it's still fairly light. Overall, your highest leverage guys, Stafford, 15% more in the flex. Rams, 11% more in the flex. Higbee rounded up 11% more. Aaron Jones rounded up 11% more. Aaron Jones, 3% more at captain. Negative leverage plays. They want to get less Hawkinson in the flex. I think it's a good price tag for him, but sure. Darnold, negative 5% in captain. They want you to get less of him. Kyron, negative 5% in the flex. Naylor, negative 4% in the flex. So they're low on Naylor, despite him being used. I guess using him at captain, they were okay with, but using him in the flex, less so. Tutu, negative 4%. So we are getting less in the field of Naylor and Atwell for whoever suggested that before. And Justin Jefferson, all right, negative 4% here for him. All right, let's hand build one out. Let's see what we get. Still got my sim from yesterday. Remember, I built a great lineup yesterday. Actually, this lineup, I mean, look, the Wicks, Ertz parts of it, not good. We got a lot of good parts of this on yesterday, so that's good. That's still on the screen. Let's zoom out here. Let's switch this to Showdown. Let's do a large contest. The third of the pot going to first place. My captain. Captain's tough. Captain's tough. I mean, I think Addison and Jefferson produce enough. I mean, Puka, they do think is going to be meaningfully better than Kupp. What happens if we build that way? Let's build something here. We just take the best players on their face and not worry about ownership too much. Puka Nacua at captain, consolidating whatever target share for the Rams seems to be the projection assumption. I like Jefferson. I like Addison. Oof. I like Aaron Jones. I like Higbee at 3K. So we talked about enough throughout this video. This is too easy of a build. Little Reichard / Reichard. He's the top guy here at 5K. That would leave us only $100 on the table. Would probably be duped a lot, would be my guess. Josh Carty kicking more field goals because Puka is moving the ball into position. Could work. I think both kickers would be fine here. Coming down a little bit more, Demarcus Robinson has always had pretty good red zone target share, but having Higbee in, commanding targets like he has probably hurts Robinson's outlay a little bit. Really, you could pay down for a defense too. But let's just go with the obvious one. Let's go with Reichard here at kicker. Let's go with old Will. Big Willie style is what we're going to do at kicker. Let's see what we get. Puka Nacua, Jefferson, Addison, Jones, Higbee, Reichard. Great lineup, 42% ROI. All right. Well, I guess let's see the other guys. I like this as a base, though. Don't steal it because I would like to play lineups with it. But I don't know that it's like terribly unique, though. We're fading the QBs. That's the thing is like for Showdown, I think it's really easy to always fade the QB. Because like it's entirely possible that you don't generate a ton of touchdowns at QB, but you get there through yardage and PPR scamming, obviously. This one's got a positive 18% ROI. So both kickers work for it. I mean, honestly, if the Vikings were just splitting production here, Akers could score a touchdown. See if this is a positive ROI. Again, the same base of Puka at captain, Jefferson, Addison, Jones, Higbee, Akers. I think the assumption would be in this lineup normally that a QB would make it if Puka Nacua makes it a captain. Or there you go. Cam Akers' point of diminishing returns. Throw a D in there. And what are we? Back to the other conversation? All right. Let's throw a D in there. We'll try Vikings D with it. Certainly sacking Matthew Stafford should be one of the outs. Force him to throw a pick. A little bit harder to do, but you can certainly get away with it. The amount of pressure the Vikings create. Nope, negative 28% ROI. Does not like the defense in there. How about Rams D? Cram the other D in there. And certainly if you were to play, obviously just for showdown principles and how we talk about it a lot, if you were to play a defensively minded matchup here and you were to go more defensively loaded, you might not sim that well, but you're certainly going to be playing a situation nobody's going to be playing on the slate. All right. Yeah, the defenses are not well liked here. Here's our best projected plays. It's Reichard. It's Carty. Yeah, I feel like if you give away that extra 2 points compared to the kickers, it's going to knock you down a little bit. Like, let's see if Demarcus Robinson. Your teeter here. Lad is not relevant to the conversation here. Negative 53 on Demarcus Robinson. Wow. No drunken celebrating for him tonight, I guess. Yeah, so it just seems like the kickers are what they want in for you here. But you could rotate this around a little bit. Like if you wanted to go off Addison, I think going to Hockenson will probably grade out similarly here. Let's see. We put Hockenson in. 6,500 left. Then you still play the kicker. There's 1,500 in salary on the table. So we're getting more unique for sure with that salary. I think this will be positive EV. No. Wow. Really? So they think that Addison is that much more valuable than Hockenson? I like Addison on the slate, but like they're the same play. It's just functionally other receiver hits. Like that's all you're asking, really. Huh. I get, you know what? It might be more that they think Hockenson can't outscore Darnold in that situation, I guess, which would be fair. I don't know. Look, I guess it's really the Addison pairing. That's it. I don't think we'll look at some unique captains real fast here. And we'll hop off. I give it another 5 minutes. What about Cup and Captain here? Let's look at some Cup Captain lineups. Sure. If you got requests for people to look at a captain, drop it in chat. We'll pull them up here. Captain Cup. Let's go. Cooper Kupp at captain. Jordan Addison, Josh Carty, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford, Rams D, leaving Niners on the table. Rams D. Oof. Rams D, I just don't like as a play very much. I get it here. As your top ROI lineup, not a lot. Got to say, though, you're noting here only 3 of these lineups have hearts on them. There's only 3 lineups in the top 150 that are Cooper Kupp captain. If you hit on Cooper Kupp hitting a captain, even if you play Puka with it, you are getting really big leverage on the field here. Just the projections, both ETR and Stochastic, have Kupp being like a dog shit play today. Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Rams, Vikings D, both defenses in with Kupp a captain here, leaving 5 to the table, but a top ROI. Kupp, Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, Rams D, Sam Darnold, Vikings. I don't mind that one. Again, both defenses. I don't know why that's coming up with Kupp, but that's okay. This one is neither defense. Kupp, Aaron Jones, Kyron, Matthew Stafford, Higbee, Reichard. You are fading all the pass catchers here, besides Kupp, obviously. But you're fading Addison, fading Puka, fading Jefferson, getting the running game. That's not a bad lineup. It's not a bad Kupp lineup. How much is your strategy change for single entry? It doesn't really. I also don't play a ton of single entry, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think it wouldn't change too much. I'd probably go a little bit less, like putting in $200 guy like you would in a larger tournament. A little more stacking, I guess, and correlating. But for Showdown, you're doing that anyway. So I think for a Showdown, I probably wouldn't change that much. For like a main slate or a larger slate, you definitely want to be game stacking more and team stacking more. And also probably a little more cashy in terms of your approach. We wanted Aaron Jones captain, sure. There you go. Just play the best lineup. Just play the winning pieces. Thank you. That's also very helpful. I think that's, if only we could all do that in every single slate. Your number 1 ROI lineup, which I think we saw already: Aaron Jones, Kyron, Stafford, Puka, Higbee, Reichard. Number 2, Aaron Jones, Jefferson, Kyron Williams, Stafford, Rams D, Higbee. An RB with the opposing defense feels a little bit weird, but I guess they're making a bet against Darnold in this one a little bit. Wouldn't work for me, though, because if you have the opposing RB, they should be really dominating the game, and the opposing defense not likely to make it in with that. Number 3, Aaron Jones, Addison, Hardy, Jefferson, Puka Nacua, and Rams D again. I don't think that works. This one with Jones, no defense involved. Addison, Stafford, Puka, Hockenson, Reichard. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Higbee I like more, but Higbee was only in this one with the defense. I guess the top lineup I would like the most. That's also the highest ROI out of every lineup on the slate, so nothing that crazy. Let's look at Addison captains, because I do think that at his price tag could work. Addison, Demarcus Robinson, Jefferson, Puka, Rams D, Darnold. You are getting a lot of good plays there, along with the Rams D and Demarcus Robinson. Swap to Higbee, swap off the defense would be my thought. Addison, Kyron, Stafford, Puka, Rams D, Hockenson. They are jamming Rams D in here a lot. I think is a low-owned piece. I get Darnold we don't like, but Darnold's soft matchups does kill. Not always. He did fuck up versus Carolina famously in that one DFS chalk week. So I guess you could look. You can play whatever outcome in a showdown. There's just a lot of Rams D coming in here, and I'm not buying it. Unless you're playing like a defensively minded build, but a shootout with a defense on top, I just don't see it. Addison to captain again. Addison, Kupp, Stafford, Darnold, Hockenson, Higbee. All right. And any other captains here? Kyron captain. Kyron, Aaron Jones, Kupp, Stafford, Rams D, Higbee. That makes sense. Playing Kyron and captain with Rams D, sure. You're playing a very specific thing. But I don't think Rams D with like shootout Vikings guys at captain, I don't think that works as well. Kyron, Addison, Stafford, Puka, Rams D, Tyler Higbee. Kyron, Carty, of course, the Rams kicker. Jefferson, Sam Darnold, Hockenson, Tyler Higbee. That one I could live with. That's actually kind of a fun lineup. $400 in salary. I think you're getting a little bit dupey there, even though it says 0 here. Stochastic dupes you can't really trust as much because they have a smaller pool of lineups. but that's still a good lineup there. You think Sam Darnold bounces back? We'll look up Sam Darnold captains. But I would agree. A little much different situation than playing Detroit with the the title on the line in Detroit versus going on the road to a neutral field against the Rams team that is definitely going to have things on their mind whether they play up to it or not. There's a lot going on locally. Sam Darnold, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee, Will Reichard here. That's an okay lineup. I don't think you're getting too crazy unique on that. Feels like a lot of dupes, honestly, but number 2, Sam Darnold, Cardi, Jefferson, Kyren, Ramsey, Hockenson. So you're getting your 2 pass catchers with an opposing defense. Will make this one less owned. Just Rams D, I don't think it's a good play, but I think it's just to decrease the ownership product on that one. Number 3, you get Darnold, Naylor, Addison, Jefferson, Kyren Williams again, Higbee again. Obviously cool with Higbee. I mean, look, not bad Darnold lineups. I don't hate it. Captain contains Stafford. A little bit harder to hit. We got Stafford, Addison, Puka Nacua, Darnold, Hockenson, Higbee. Getting 2 pass catchers with Stafford there. Puka contributing some amount here, but not making the winning lineup. That plays. Is it unique enough? It might be. Actually, that's not a bad lineup. You're playing all real guys, which makes you think it probably gets duped a little bit, even leaving 700 on the table. But that's a good lineup still. Probably like 10 or less dupes would be my guess. Stafford, DeMarcus Robinson, Addison, Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Rams D again. Rams D just ever. Vikings D nowhere. Rams D everywhere. Stafford, Aaron Jones, which is crazy given the Vikings D actually does stuff. Cardi, Puka Nacua, Sam Darnold, Tyler Higbee. Stafford lineups are kind of fun. I don't know he has the biggest upside in the world. Like it feels like you need Puka, Kupp, and Higbee to all make the lineup if you're going to have Stafford score enough at captain, but it could work. I don't think we saw any Jefferson captains. Let's see what it takes to get him there. Jefferson and captain, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I think it's no surprise here. The Vikings D, I guess, what's the ownership they have for them? Vikings D, they're projected to be 20% owned, and they project Rams D to be higher owned. I think it's more like the $3,800 salary works for the Vikings, for the Rams D, and the $4,000 one for the Vikings doesn't work, I guess. And also Darnold a little more turnover prone, maybe factoring in a little bit. But anyway. Again, Rams D in this top one. Jefferson, Kupp, Addison, Rams, Darnold, Higbee. Number 2, Jefferson with Kupp, Kyren, Rams D, Hockenson, Vikings. Number 3, Jefferson with Cardi, Stafford, Puka, Hockenson, Higbee. So you're naturally getting more Kupp, but you're getting Puka in some as well. You're definitely taking some cheap guys on, but honestly, I don't think your lineup is suffering that much for Hockenson and captain. Or for Jefferson and captain, rather. Yeah, I think those lineups are good. I don't think that was like as ugly as I thought they would be based on the prices. Puka captain. Puka captain with Naylor, Addison, Cardi, Stafford, Darnold. Puka captain with Jones, Allen, Jefferson, Stafford, Hockenson. Puka captain with Aaron Jones, CJ Ham, Addison, Stafford, and Darnold. And I like that you're getting some Jefferson, like you're getting some Addison. Give me some Higbee with it. I think it'd be okay. And I don't think you're getting terribly unique with those, though. The CJ Ham one, you're good. If you're going to play CJ Ham and he makes a winning lineup, you probably win money. He doesn't probably make that winning lineup very often, though. Who else? Higbee captain? Higbee, you can just afford everybody. Higbee, Kupp, Kyren, Stafford, Puka Nacua, Hockenson. I think we saw that one already. Higbee, DeMarcus Robinson, Jefferson, Kyren, Stafford, Puka. Higbee, Jefferson, Kyren, Stafford, Rams D. The herpes of the slate, Sam Darnold. Don't like those Higbee lineups as much as I would have thought. Who else have we not looked at? Hockenson, Aaron Jones, Stafford. I think we saw this one already. Puka Nacua, Ramsey, and Darnold. Hockenson, Aaron Jones, Kyren, Stafford, Puka Nacua, Higbee. That's fun. You're fading to see Vikings pass catchers. Still feel like you probably would want Darnold in that lineup because you're assuming that like Addison probably still gave you 40, maybe even a touchdown. I don't know. Jefferson gave you 50 to 80. Wasn't enough for him to make the lineup at his salary, but gave you some yardage. I think Darnold will make the lineup if Hockenson can make it a captain, but still a not bad one. One dupe on it, though, probably means 10 to 20. Hockenson, Aaron Jones, Stafford, Puka Nacua, Darnold, Higbee. Hockenson lineups are fun, but they do feel like you're getting all legit pieces in. This one, though, leaving 1,400 on the table. I think you could live with that. That's like everybody, right? I think we looked at all the key names. Defenses, we don't really care too much. A Reichard captain is making it all. Barely in the top 150. Reichard, Addison, Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Darnold, Vikings. Reichard, Demarcus Robinson, Addison, Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Darnold. Reichard, Aaron Jones, Naylor, Kyron, Puka, Darnold. I mean, the first one's the most appealing, but would definitely get you duped more than twice. Probably a good 20 dupes on that one. Kicker captain, not on fun, though. And there we go. I think that's basically a look at Cardi, too, just for kicker symmetry. Cardi captain, say him out in the top 150. Cardi, Aaron Jones, Stafford, Puka, Darnold, Hockenson, Cardi, Cup, Jefferson, Kyron, Stafford, Higbee, Cardi, Parkinson, Jefferson, Kyron, Puka, Darnold. You did see a lot of Parkinson coming in today, which, again, I don't think there should be, but he's getting enough snaps. I'm getting in here. Reichard quietly been one of the best fantasy kickers this year. There you go. Look, I certainly am not top of mind for Will Reichard here. I think it's a little bit easier to play Cardi, just knowing that the assumption would be that the Rams maybe get lucky, move the ball a little bit, or, they're just good enough to move the ball, but stall out in the red zone against the Vikings. That's good. The Ramsey just isn't good. So that'd be my concern, is that they find ways to punch it in. But as I mentioned earlier, like, I'll never forget that Carolina game where the Vikings were in position. Was it Carolina? No, where's it? Jacksonville. It was Jacksonville where, like, Jefferson was super chalk and, like, basically had 2 touchdown passes. They didn't work out. Like, just dropped them in the end zone, or him and Darnold couldn't link up. They ended up kicking a lot of field goals in that game because they just failed in the red zone. So you could play that outcome for sure. I think Reichard looks good. I think Cardi, though, also credible. I just think the Vikings have a higher chance of getting in the red zone and scoring, with some frequency, but especially coming off that down game last week, like, I think they come out trying to prove a point here, but we'll see. It is still, mentor versus protege thing with O'Connell and McVay. And, McVay came out seemingly knowing how to counterpunch him in the first game they played this year. But we'll see what happens in game 2. Splash plays for the day, no, your 3 takeaways get unique is what we do in Showdown videos. I'm going to hit that in a moment. Before we do, though, guys, one last ask. Subscribe down below with the like button. It all goes a long way for me here. One guy running an NFL channel, NBA channel. I'm down at the end of laundry. That's why I'm wearing my child's faces, the Taylor Swift ripoff shirt I got for Alex and for myself. That's where we are, because I worked so hard in this stuff. I haven't done laundry in a couple of weeks. The laundry I'm doing today. So you don't have to see me in weird shirts here down the home stretch, like my high school football championship shirt, and this one is where we've been in the cycle lately. Check out our sponsors too. Underdog, $1,000 of bonus cash, promo code SPLASH. Link in the description for all the sponsors down below. Stochastic, 15% off. Please click in that. Data, Sims tools, cheap stuff, expensive stuff. It's all 15% off with promo code SPLASH. The link in the description. Check out their full menu of products. Unabated, a great partner for my NBA channel. Check them out as well. $30 off, promo code SPLASH, unabated.com. Check it out. Betting data for market stuff, for all the sports, and of course for NBA custom projections. Give you great betting data. And the solver, which you saw earlier in the stream, great product as well. Optimizer plus Sim. Check it out. Power VTR, crammed into a tool. All right, 3 ways to get unique here. Number 1, to be playing more Rams. We did see it up top. The optimizer or the solver. You're getting about 90% of teams with at least 4 Vikings getting in. As a result, if you play more Rams, you get more unique. Obviously, the Rams are the team here you expect to lose. They are a dog at home. They're a team as well, playing a tougher defense. That said, as he mentioned, different motivations. And, frankly, the wildfire stuff, too. I think people are like, oh, the Rams aren't going to be ready. They're really distracted. If they just bind together because of that, even if they just get lucky because they are only a 3-point dog and just win the game, playing more Rams will be beneficial. So doesn't mean you have to play all Rams in every lineup, but it does mean we're trying to get unique in some amount of lineups. Play more Rams. That's going to naturally allow you to do it. Number 2 way to get unique would be fading one of, who was it? It was Darnold and Puka. For ETR projections, Darnold and Puka make every lineup naturally. As a result, you basically want to move away from one of those guys, maybe both. You can still play them. They're obviously 2 of the best plays in the slate, but for Showdown, it's not about playing the best plays. It's about playing your most unique pathways to get you the first place, and ideally a solo first place. And if you fade those guys, you're going to certainly find ways to get unique more easily. Doesn't mean they're bad plays, though, but it just means they come up very easily. Sam Darnold and Puka Nacua. Number 3 way to get unique on the slate. I mean, look, the Sims seem to think it's playing more defense. I think that is a way to get unique. In a game that's kind of shootout-y, people expecting more production, I think that is another way to do it. I'm not sold on the Rams D. I still think Vikings D I would like more. I'm not saying like you have to go crazy on the defenses, but I think there's a real expectation projection-wise of a pass-dominant game script for both sides. So playing RBs more, playing one defense more, playing kickers more, just playing less of like an explosion of offense and more like a slow trickle of offense is a way to get unique, I think. So that'd be my overall takeaway. But the Sims really love Rams D. So if you want to listen to the Sim, Just play Rams D. But there you go, guys. That's the video here. Check the chats here. Curious how many unique lineups stochastic/ETR can generate for Sims in the big one. I mean, they build 10,000 lineups that are meant to represent the pool on stochastic. So that's what theirs is. For ETR, they build like when they put out their data later on, they usually have like 55,000 to 75,000, maybe even more entries. They try to build the entire contest pool when they do those, but they don't do that for the main slate. They only build the full contest pool for showdowns. Let's see. Riker chatting. Great day yesterday. Let's go, Squirters. Let's go indeed, guys. Shouts to all the paying members here. If you too want to join down below, support the show, you get my data sheet, which has been helping people out here. I keep putting it out every week throughout the playoffs, so you get that. VIP Discord's another big benefit. That's where I put any of my thoughts in game. Obviously, that's all bullshitting. People talking without me too. So check it out. VIP Discord, the Squirt Squad VIP channel. If you join down below, just sync your Discord settings. Go to your settings, sync your YouTube channel in there. It's very easy to do. I have details in the description too about that. And also you get featured on the credits like this. And you also get, there's a third perk. I'm forgetting. Gamble responsibly, guys, even though it's money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. Back at 4 p.m. on the NBA channel, 5 p.m. on Stochastics. Deeper dive for NFL or for NBA today. So check that out. And I'll see you guys again soon. So no NFL show tomorrow. Still be on NBA today and tomorrow, every day at 4 p.m. Back on Wednesday with a rookie preview video again for, I believe, RB's coming up. So Ashton Genty time. Was pulling up some clips, looking up some highlights yesterday. Looking up some data, some 40 times. So that's coming up on Wednesday then. See you guys for that one. Enjoy your days and good luck, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.